Welcome back. So far, we've talked about gear and what microphone will help you sound good. We've talked about recording software and the best way to capture your podcast. But there's something very important that we haven't talked about yet, and that is how to sound good in the room in which you're recording. This is called room acoustics, and we want to make sure that where you're recording is going to help you sound as good as possible. You've probably heard videos or podcasts where there's a lot of echo in the room and the sound quality isn't that great. That's because the room isn't treated properly. And just like having a decent microphone like the ATR 2100, we want to make sure that your room is treated as best as possible for you to get a good recording. So, what exactly does that look like? Well, first, room acoustics is how sound behaves in an enclosed space. You have heard echoes, and echoes happen when you say something, that something bounces off the wall and comes back to you, and you can hear it audibly. Well, room acoustics has a lot to do with that. We want to eliminate echo and other sounds, not just sounds getting into your room, but the sounds you're making inside the room. And there are two ways to do that. You want to absorb sound inside the room, and you want to deflect sound inside the room. And again, this has nothing to do with the outside of the room, right? If we're talking about the outside of the room, you're going to want to have a door that closes. You might want to get some blackout curtains, which we'll talk about later, and treat the windows in such a way that sound is less likely to get in. Since you're not going to be recording in a completely soundproof booth, you want to tell anybody that you live with that you're going to record and to make noise somewhere else for a little while or be quiet for a little while. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking specifically about treating the inside of your room. So, sound absorption is the removal of sound from a room. That means that you say something, and instead of it bouncing off of the wall, you have something in place to absorb that sound. You are probably most familiar with this because that's what acoustic foam panels are supposed to do. They're supposed to absorb the sound in the room. And again, you can see it. I'll make this bigger so you can see it. The panels behind me are designed to do exactly that. If sound is bouncing off and coming behind me, or sound is coming from the other direction, these panels are going to absorb that sound. That picture that you saw in an earlier slide is an acoustic panel that I have up on my wall to again absorb the sound that's coming out of my mouth so that it doesn't reach the microphone. Sound deflection or diffusion is forcing sound to reflect in a different direction away from your microphone. This is why you don't want to record in a big open room, because in a big open room, sound just bounces off, and if it's a flat surface that you're talking at, it's going to bounce right back into your microphone. So you want to have a varied amount of stuff on the wall. We'll talk about bookshelves are actually a good way to deflect and diffuse sound. You don't want all of the sound to come back at you from the direction you're speaking in. So if you can get some of that sound to bounce in a different direction away from your microphone, that's what deflection and diffusion is. So here are some quick tips to help you. Carpets. Carpets help. The thicker, the better. And carpets absorb a lot. So, maybe not the super thin carpets, but if you have like a fluffy, thicker carpet, that's going to make sure that sound doesn't hit the floor and bounce right back up again into your microphone. So if you don't have carpet in your office or wherever you're going to record, consider getting an area rug, one that you can put under your desk, especially wherever you're sitting, where your microphone is positioned, because that's going to help a lot. Carpets are a huge help in diffusing and absorbing sound. Acoustic foam, like I mentioned, that's pretty affordable, but in the description below for this video, I'm going to link to a DIY video where you can essentially take or buy some old towels for like $5, build a wood frame and put that on your wall, and that will work as good or better than the acoustic foam. Acoustic foam can get pretty expensive. So if you can, anything that you can put on your wall that will absorb sound will be helpful. Bookcases, like I mentioned before, are heavy and they have an uneven surface, right? All of your books are not the same exact size and shape. So that's going to create that uneven surface, which means that diffusion and deflection can happen thanks to those bookcases. So if you could put bookcases behind you, then that's going to be a great way to diffuse sound. I actually did that in my previous office. It was a fairly small open room, but the bookcases behind me really made a difference in the sound. A blackout curtains or thick curtains in general can also help. They're great for absorption. Really thick blackout curtains can also prevent like 40 to 60% of outside sound from getting into your office. So if you have a window wherever you're recording, a blackout curtain can help that. And finally, record towards the middle of the room if you can. This will make it so that it's going to take longer for the sound to hit a surface and bounce back at you, which means that there's more opportunity for absorption, diffusion, and deflection. So try to record towards the middle of the room. These are just a few tips that have helped me and are recommended by professionals. Obviously, not obviously, but you're probably not going to have that professional recording booth like you see in recording studios. But anything that you can do to help treat the room is going to be a big step up from just a big empty and open room. So your goals here. Your goals are: don't record in a wide open room, diffuse sound the best you can, absorb sound the best you can, and don't record close to walls if you can help it. All of these things will go a long way in helping you have better acoustics and better sound quality. So your action item for this video is to think of 3 ways you can improve your recording space. Again, they don't have to be big. You don't have to take drastic measures, but some of the tips that you learned here in this video can really help. I know that if you're really in a pinch, something that I've done and something that other podcasters will do is they'll actually record in their closet. I one time, shortly after my daughter was born, I put a comforter over my head and my computer so that I could record videos for my course. Luckily, they weren't like talking head like this. They were screencasts, but that big comforter helped really kill sound. So if you're a pinch, people will record in under comforters or in their closet, but some of these tips will help you hopefully record more comfortably. So let me know in the comments below or on the Facebook page, the Student Center, what you're doing to help improve the room acoustics wherever you're recording.